Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to see what it took to make these 16-inch Outback wheels fit over legacy GT brakes that require 17s. Look how close that is. Now let's find out how I did it. It's getting pretty cold outside at night, and unfortunately I need to drive this thing at night in order to get some miles on it, to break in the engine, get the tuning done, and get it ready for inspection. Unfortunately, these brand new tires right here are summer tires, which means you can't run them colder than 50 degrees. I look very much forward to running these in about 5-6 months from now when it warms back up, but for now it is getting down into the 40s and 30s at night. So the only wheels I had around with viable tires that would actually work for an Outback were the wheels off of my fiance's 2004 Outback H6. So we took these 16s. They say you can't fit 16s over legacy GT brakes, and check it out. They clear, no rubbing, nothing. I have got about almost a 1/4 inch of space there. And in this episode, we're going to make these fit because I need some street tires. Oh yeah, it's close. I'm going to get a lug nut on here so I'm going to show you guys what it's hitting by. And I can also take some mental notes here as to what needs to get loosened. I'm not by any means tightening that down with a gun. I'm just getting them started so I can see what's contacting here. All right, guys, you can see right there, that is contacting. All right, so what we're going to do now that that's bolted on is I'm going to spin this a few times and I'm going to see where it scratches the caliper. That should be enough. All right, perfect. That has given us all the information we needed there. You can see we have got a nice scratch on the caliper right here, and that's showing me what I've got to take material off of. Got the other side to clear. Now it's time to make this side clear. I've got some wheel spacers on the way, because just because I got them to where there's like a millimeter of clearance, I'm not going to trust that. I'm also not going to take another 2 or 3 millimeters off, because that would be a pretty thick caliper. But I think this will be fine. So what I just did there was I cut some lines in there where I knew I had to take off the most meat on the other side. So what I did is I cut the lines to a depth of probably about this much. And when I grind all of that away, those lines that I cut will disappear. Once they're gone, it should pretty much fit on there, other than taking a little bit off of this top edge right here and possibly some off of here. I took some material off of this before I even test fit the wheel, just because I figured it had to have hit since it's the largest parts of it. But the actual spot rubbing is about 3 fingers worth right here, right from where the caliper, as soon as the caliper rolls in right here, that's where it starts to hit for about 1.5 inches in. But if I get the 1-inch spacers, that'll bring me out to before this spot where it curves in, and that's actually going to give me plenty of clearance. So I'm going to go in the house and get safety glasses because the goggles are fogging up. So now it's rubbing down lower. The more I get it away, the further it goes on, and then it finds a new spot to hit. It's the name of the game. That's why every time I take some off, I don't just take off in that spot. I also go to the surrounding areas because they're likely to be the next place to rub. Alright guys, I got them pretty much polished up here. They're totally going to clear it. And then I took off just a little bit more so that I could put some paint back on. Alright guys, this is the exact same blue that they already were, so it should be really easy to cover it, blend it in. I'm going to do one coat on the silver stuff and try to miss all the blue, and then when I go back and do a second coat, it'll be pretty even. Not bad. These calipers look insane. It is so glossy, it's ridiculous. Alright guys, we're back for that second coat. Alright, so you guys can see here how beautiful and glossy that caliper is when it's shaved down. I really didn't have to take too much away, but from about here to here, just these 2 fingers worth of space is what needed to come off. Now, you can see right here in there, I never ground that down or anything. And you can see what that would have looked like. Same thing here. If I turn this, you'll be able to see that this metal here is pitted. And the other is just, I mean, smooth as glass. All right, guys, a little update for you on getting the 16s to fit over the Legacy GT wheels. You can see here I've got 2 wheels already have been cleaned, sanded, taped off. These are about to get primer and then black because everything on this car is black, except for the stuff that's blue. First coat of primer, guys. Second coat of primer. First coat of black, guys. The rears should fit up no problem because they're a smaller diameter for the rotor. We've got the front's clearance to just barely fit. I mean, we are talking, there's about this much room to spare. But, haha, have no fear, because in this box here, I have some 1-inch spacers. I am usually not a huge fan of running these, but when you have to run them to clear some brakes, you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright guys, we got here our wheel spacers. They were about $60 on eBay. If you are going to run a wheel spacer, the one most important thing above anything else is that they are hub centric. You need a hub centric adapter, and you also need hub centric rings if you're not running factory wheels with the correct center board. Any aftermarket wheel is supposed to be torqued within 50 miles of driving after initially bolting it to the car. Now, with that said, that means that in order to safely run these on your car, you need to put these on, torque them, put the wheels on, torque them, drive it for 50 miles, take the wheels off, re-torque these to the hub, then these are good. Well, so far, they fit well on the hub, no slop. You'll notice that I'm putting the rear two on first because I am not prepared for the heartbreak if it doesn't fit the front. Because the internet says the rear will fit. And that's, you know, when the internet says something, it's always right. All right, guys, here comes the fun part. So we have now got 1 inch of spacing, which should take it so that instead of the rubbing occurring right here, it should occur here, and this tapers in. It would have cleared that, I believe, just with the spacer, but I also took off quite a bit of material here so that the wheels would actually fit without the spacers, but it was really close. Close enough that after I painted them, they'd probably rub. Which is why we have not attempted to put them on the car until now with these spacers. I did not want to damage my new paint. Oh yeah, that's perfect. These clear, no problem. There is a big old light gap that I can see through there. That scraping you're hearing is just because these rotors have not been on a road for 5 years. All right, so let's see what this looks like when it comes down. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not expect to really like these because they're smaller, they're narrower, they're OEM wheels that are a dime a dozen, but I'm gonna tell you what, with the all black and the chrome in the middle, with that chrome stem, I like this. All right, guys, so we got the wheels on there. We've got this thing quieted down a little bit for the street. She is ready for her maiden voyage, and next time, we're gonna try and drive it.